Okay, we're live. Okay, so after all this talk, I feel like even though last week we did it, it was like a while ago. So I'm going to do like a major review from the beginning. Is everybody caught up, working their way there? It's fine, there's no homework. But like finally, like Nechama came home last night and she's like, we have no homework on Thursdays because moms are so busy. I'm like, hey, finally. Like, and then I'm like, my fifth grader's like, I have a Chumash test, an Navi test, a science test. I'm like, it's Friday. Like, right, I know. It's okay. Okay, fine. So we'll start all the way from the beginning in chapter 1. So chapter 1, we were introduced to the concept of the struggle of the two souls. You know what I feel like? You know when you're like catching up with an episode and they're like, previously on. Like, you know, like in I used to watch like Lost. And that was like, you needed like major chazara. Like you really need, like what happened season 1? Also patience. I feel like we are definitely into season 2 because like after 26 we are. So let's like recap season 1. So we're introduced to this concept of the struggle of two souls. At first we explained that there's an existence of the animal soul, and that animal soul is survival, impulse, ego, feed me, everything from this world. Second chapter, we were introduced to the godly soul, and that is given to you. And it happens to be like now that it was my son's bar mitzvah, like I did not stop talking about it. He's like, okay, man, I get it. I got my definition of kids. I'm like, no, you have to understand what this means. But the godly soul is the opposite. It just wants to be subsumed in godliness. It just wants to connect back to Hashem. Chapter 3, we spoke about. You'll start remembering chapters, but we'll review it. Chapter 3 was the modes of expressions, like the 3 garments. What are the 3 clothings? The what? Thought, speech, and action, right? And then we spoke about chapter 5. We spoke about the food. So, which is, if those are mitzvos, what's the Torah food? What's the soul's food? What? Mitzvos is the clothing, and what's the food? Torah, right? Yeah, Torah. Did you say it? I didn't hear. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. And then chapter 6, we spoke about the opposite. So we flipped it. Everything that the godly soul has in terms of its mode of expression, in terms of its clothing and its food, the opposite the animal soul also has. And then 7 and 8, which I'm really tapping into this week, is klipos, right? That there's negativity in the world and some of it is redeemable, some of it is not. The ones that we can redeem, get in there, pull it out, find the spark of Hashem. The ones that are irredeemable are like not kosher and Avodah Zarah and all the things that we are told that we're not supposed to do, don't go there. Those are like the lobsters of the world. And then the redeemable ones are the oranges of the world. So we have to find that. Then that was like kind of like our vocabulary list. So 1 through 8 is like the lay of the land, everything we need to know. Then, okay, that was really the end of season 1. Okay, sorry. And then season 2 started, and we started with chapter 9, we spoke about the small city. And we said that there are ways that people interact in this world. So we started talking about the tzaddik, the Rosh, and the Benoni. We said that tzaddik, if he was in charge of the small city, who would be in control? How would he be in control? He would be the first one to get in the car. So that means that when the tzaddik takes over, what does the tzaddik do? The tzaddik flips his animal soul, and he's all tzaddik, right? We spoke about 2 types of tzaddik. Chapter 11, we spoke about 2 types of Rasha, right? We spoke about the Rasha that is obviously now Hamas, whatever, or almost like that Amalek is that like total Rasha, and then there's a Rasha that he once in a while makes mistakes, but you know sometimes we could think that's us, and then it brings us to chapter 12 through 15, which is all about the Benoni and the 2 types of Benonis, right? Who are the 2 types of Benonis? One that kind of like coasts, right? I always look at you, Faigy, because I remember like you described this. Now I started like learning from everybody, like certain things I associate with certain people, but like that there's a Benoni that it just comes easy to him. It's like, okay, you know, I wake up and I go to Shacharis and there's, you know, kosher food and everything is just easy for me. And then there's another one who's like, oh my God, I have to like literally battle every single minute. And even if you're the one that has it easy, you still have to push yourself no matter what. And then we explained how you push your limits. Then we were introduced to like the first set of Tanya tools, and that first tool was Lol Shal Taliv, right? What'd you say? Meditation, yeah. So that's the second one. So the first one is impulse control, right? Okay, let's go back. Like I have a feeling, I have an urge, somebody did something to me, I don't want to get back to them, right? No, Faigy, control yourself. You still want a job, you still want to live, you want to whatever, you're not Changadi, like you have to control yourself, right? So control yourself. Even if it's not all the time, even if it's hard for me, and even if I'm only doing it because I'm in public and I'm in gourmet but I can control myself because thoughts create my actions, right? this is where it starts. So I can learn to stop myself in the tracks, but that's impulse control. But then we said too much impulse control all the time is what? What is that likened to? Like we gave that mashal of like a soda, right? Like it explodes. So eventually you're gonna explode. You could hold it in all day. Like I always think it's like shapewear. Like you could hold it in all day and then you could just be like, right? And then you lose it. You literally lose control and you don't want to get there. So we said the second one, like Adita said, is meditation. So one way is impulse control. Second way is meditation. So Mol Shalta Alev A and Mol Shalta Alev B. One is impulse control. Two is meditation. Am I going way too fast? We're good? Yeah? Okay, fine. So then we spoke about, that was like all 18 through 25. We explained before we got to 16 and 17. Oh, hi. Okay, I have more chairs in the kitchen. I feel like in the corner. You have a seat? Yeah? Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so we said one of the most important things is that I always try to say this, and specifically when it comes to Tanya, is that our thoughts create our feelings. We have to say it all the time. Our thoughts create our feelings. Even if you think that you got to a place where you're like, I got this. Oh, thank you. Just please. Okay, thank you. But no matter what, we say emotions are the children of intellect. When are the emotions not children of intellect? Who's in control when the kids rule the house? Which soul? The Nefesh HaBahamis. When the Nefesh HaBahamis has control, he's the one doing all the emotions. He's the temper tantrum that leads to very bad places. But if you quickly swap it out, then your intellect will create your emotions. Okay, so 1 through 25 that's season 1 and season 2. That is the perfect system. That's really all you ever need to know. Those are your vocabulary words and examples of how it goes in. So then we came to chapter 26 and we literally asked ourselves, like, what are we doing here? Why are we here? Why do we need any more? And the way that Sheitab explained it, no, this chair right here. The way that Sheitab explained it was that the chapter 1 through 25 is your hardware. It's everything that you will ever need to do and to need to know. And then chapter 26 is when you call HR and you're like, okay, I have a problem, right? Like Houston, we have a problem. What's the problem? And we explained starting from 26, we explained that this is how you troubleshoot through your emotions. And we started off with the example. The main example that we gave was this wrestler, okay? The wrestler who's the strongest, who has the most energy, but what happens on the day of his, what's it called? Not a fight. Is it a fight? A match. But what happens on the day of his match? He woke up in a bad mood, and then what happened? That's it. He lost. So we're like, oh my God, you are the perfect Beinoni. You have everything going for you. And what happens? Boom, you lost it because of your mood. So now we say, okay, so we have to figure out. So we spend 26, 27, 28, 29, even up until 36, all dealing with how we get out of our mood. I know that this always happens and it just aligns beautifully with like the Parsha and what's happening, but like, literally, this is all I've been feeling from everybody all day, every day. Is like, I cannot move. I cannot go on. And Baruch Hashem, like, we're in a place, we're in a place where we don't have enough chairs. So we're winning. Like, any time I get sad, like, and trust me, I get sad, I stop myself and I'm saying, this is an emergency. And it's like, I started to say it like so many times that I'm just like, I feel like Ninja Turtles, like they have stuff in their back and they like whip it out and it's like, and my friends are like, oh my God, it's so sad. And I'm like, it is so sad. Stop it. Like you have to stop. You have to channel your emotion. And it's literally like, if we are not in control of our emotions, we're not going to be able to get to the places that we need to get to. And we have so much to do. And if you think about it, this is all we were talking about in last week's class when it came to davening. Sorry, I missed one chapter, but I want to get back to this. The davening piece is that we were saying, what do you do when you're distracted during davening? We're going to continue it today, but it's very, very important that these chapters, like, they become alive. Like, they really, really do. So the idea of first 26 is that I cannot be happy. I'm the sad wrestler. Yeah, not a wrestler, but I'm the sad wrestler. So what do I do? So the first response that the Baal Tanya teaches us is that, wait, why do you have an excuse not to be happy? What's your excuse? Anybody have an excuse not to be happy? It's okay, you could say it. Oh, there's like hostages and there's like wars, whatever. Like I have very, very physical reasons to be sad. Like people were killed, murdered. It's a real emotion. It's a real, right. So it is. So you are, but what do you do with that? Let's say I want to connect now. So now Tanya tells us, okay, fine, you're sad. So what's your reason for being sad?
Feeling someone's pain. Right.
Feeling someone's pain. So he explained in the beginning of 26, he said there are physical problems, right? There's problems with your children, there's problems with your finances, there's problems, right? With war, like literal physical problems. And the first thing he says, what is my excuse? How do I combat that? How do I fight that? We spoke about connecting to a higher good. You remember that? That first, the beginning of 26, we broke 26 into two. The first one of 26 is, I'm in a bad mood, I am sad, I cannot connect, and that's because I don't have the money to do the things that I want, I don't have the children that I need, I don't have safety, I don't have a house, I have, my house was literally destroyed, I have nowhere to, how am I going to connect? So the first answer was, connect to a higher good. Find something in there. Look in, go deeper, go to the deepest, darkest place, because we always say that the place that is the darkest, that starts out the darkest, has the most light. So you're in such darkness. I mean, like after Simchas Torah, it was like literally, I felt like Makos Choshech. Like it was darkness came to the world. So what do? I know that there's a higher good. Then the second part of 26, right? Does that make sense? Could we use that? Could we tap into that today? Like even
higher, just connect it.
Like someone said right after Simchas Torah. I don't know who it was. Somebody. Could have been Bessie, I don't remember. But basically they said that's what the Dolan do. Like when you go to a gadol and you tell him your problem, he can't just say, okay, bracha tzlacha, without actually internalizing it, feeling it, and then connecting it to Elokus. That's how he elevates it. When we don't feel someone else's pain, it's not because they have their own pain and they're connecting their own pain to that other person's pain. They're getting deep into that feeling of sadness, of pain, and then connecting it to Elokus, and then it elevates it.
That's like our Buddha, to like swim in the darkness for a little bit, but like pull yourself up, pull yourself out of that by connecting to something higher.
What was higher?
Higher thing to find.
Okay.
So first of all, it's in your mind to Elokus.
And then you how great Hashem is.
Oh, right. That you tell your problems how great Hashem is, right? Like, right, I forgot, I always quote that song. That one of the ways to get out of it is like, take your problems and not bring your problems to Hashem. Tell your problems how great Hashem is. Hashem's going to pull you out of it. Let's see, what could be a greater good from everything that's happening now? I mean, like,
that you connect
so I can connect to the Achtos that's happening. Like I teach in the city, I teach in a Kiruv organization, and it's like we literally, like, recruitment starts the week before. Okay, everybody come, we're going to run classes, we're going to make bracelets, we're going to like, and we post pictures and make so much fun and make a TikTok and be like, hey, everybody come. And it's like, literally this week we're like having chalbik, 75 girls walked into the room. I'm like, where are you guys coming from? Like, yes, there was a recruitment, there was something, but I'm like, it blew my mind. I was like, everybody there in the room, blasting Thank You Hashem songs. They never heard it before. Put on like this new remix of Songs of Soldiers, and they were like, Am Yisrael, Chai. And I like turned around to the room. I was like, if I don't become Shani Adar right now, I don't know. And I was like, Faigy, just like lose yourself. It's fine. Like, pretend you're not shy. Bina was there. She was dying. My mother came. She was like, that's my Faigy. You know, like I got an award like as a kid, like excellence in talking. And I was like, okay, like we got this. And I knew it wasn't me, but I connected to something so much greater. And I was like, there's crazy aftas happening. There's like pictures of Moshe Weinberger like making tzitzis now for the soldiers and like a green camouflage shirt, like a baguette because it has to be camouflage, and like and I'm like, what is this world? Like this world we are amazing. We are amazing. Like I know there are self-hating bloggers out there, but there are people who are, I guess I'm following all the Jewish bloggers and see what they're posting, but don't spend so much time there. Recognize that there's crazy unity happening now. And we've never had that before. We've never had it so easy. I'm telling you, I blinked and there were 75 girls in the room. I know what it's like. I've been doing this for 15 years. Like never, ever, ever. So to me, that's like a higher good.
So to me, I see the unity, but I also see like Elokus being recognized like everywhere. Like there's a rapper in Israel that literally was talking to Hashem in his new song. Like a woman and a man that made a song together. They're not from. They probably never even. They don't know much, but they know that Hashem's in charge, and they're basically reflecting on. I could send it to you. It's like It blew me away. And then you go into the comments, and it's literally like. Not from Israelis talking about how our soldiers are fighting and our Torah students are fighting. Like they're equating the two. Right. You've never seen that. You don't have
never. Right. You don't. And by the way, like a few months prior, there was a lot of stuff going on in Israel, right?
tours in the street. We're posting this around.
Right. And now it's like, bring all your Taurus girls to the Army Beast. Like, I don't know, I like every time I see like Isha Ribo or like Omar, I'm like performing for them. I'm like, look at us. Like, I'm so excited.
clear
Like,
now. That's
it's so
not-
clear now.